So today I'm going to give you 3 really quick tips just to calm your system down if you're feeling anxiety or stress. So the 3 things that I show you will be ways to signal to your nervous system that it doesn't need to be in an anxious or stressed state. It's our nervous systems that govern that. So we have the stressed and anxious response, which is our sort of fight or flight, it's known as. And the other branch of our nervous system deals with us being calm, and it's a rest and digest response, it's known as. So these 3 techniques I'll show you will be giving your nervous system signals to go into, that it's safe, that it can go into the rest and digest calm mode. So the first one is to bend your knees. Sounds really simple, but if you're stressed, if you're anxious, we tend to stand very rigid. You might notice that your knees are almost or sort of locked in place, almost bent backwards. Now that might only be in one leg. It might be that you stand with all your weight through one particular leg, and that one's locked into place while the other one's bent. What I want you to do is get both feet sort of hip width distance apart and just very slightly bend your knees. Now you can be doing this if you're in a queue, if you're in a shop, if you're on the bus or the train, at home, wherever. Just get a slight bend into your knees. Now that is taking the rigidity out of your body, and that is signalling to your nervous system that there isn't a need to be sort of so vigilant and on some alert that we're going to suddenly need to move or be in alert. Just soften the knees. You'll notice that when you do that, your posture might slightly change, and the way that you're carrying your weight might slightly change. You might feel that you're much more grounded down through your feet. That's signaling safety to the body. You might notice that once you bend your knees slightly, you need to slightly adjust or readjust your pelvis. That might also then help you straighten up your upper back and bring your shoulders down and breathe easier. It might not be that. It depends what your posture is like normally, but you'll notice with a slight bend in the knees, there'll be other postural changes that will happen, and all of that is signalling to the body that you're in a place of safety. And as I say, this is something that you can do really easily anywhere that you are. For me, I find that this really helps to bring my shoulders down. I start to notice less tension in my jaw, and my chest is opened up, and I'm also able to breathe easier. And all that comes just from having a slight bend in my knees. The second technique is deep belly breathing. So the first one, the slightly bending your knees, you might find opens you up and makes that a bit easier to do. What I'd like you to do, if you're able to do this just now, is just put your hands, either one hand or both hands, on your belly, and when you breathe in, notice your belly rising. Take a really deep breath. Imagine that going right down to the bottom of your lungs, and imagine your torso and your belly filling up with air as well. That again is signalling to your body that you don't need to be in a stressed state. If you start to take these really deep, and you're really conscious of taking deep breaths, what you'll do is slow down your respiration rate, which is slowing your breathing. That in turn signals to the body that your heart rate can slow down. And if you are particularly anxious and stressed, you'll maybe notice that has risen a bit. This deep breathing will signal to the body that your heart rate can slow down. What's also happening when you're deep belly breathing is you're actually activating your vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve is the longest nerve in the body. It runs from your brain right down to the bottom of your torso. It runs through all your major organ systems. When you're breathing deeply like that, you're almost you're activating, you're almost massaging the vagus nerve. That has a vital role in governing the stress and anxiety response, and the other part of the nervous system which deals with the rest and digest. So if we can activate that nerve, we can get into the rest and digest calm state, and you're signaling to your body that you can do that with the lowering of your respiration rate, with the lowering of your heart rate as well. Now, there's debate around the best way to breathe, whether that should be in and out through the nose or in through the nose and out through the mouth, and I would say do whatever feels best for you. There are different reasons that you may do one or the other, but for some people nose breathing isn't possible for allergies and colds and things. Just as long as you are taking deep breaths and getting that down into your torso, that will also help with signalling to the body that it can calm down and you can become less stressed. The third technique I want to say to you about is also around activating and massaging your vagus nerve and getting you into that calm state. Now, this is something that focuses on your ears. So what I want you to do is, if you can see that big ridge around the top of your ear, just below that there's a second ridge just along here. Get your finger in here, and just under that second ridge, the second ridge is here, just get your finger under there and just massage that really gently. It doesn't even need to be what you would call a massage, just the touch and the stimulation of this area of your ear is actually massaging your vagus nerve. That's signalling to the body that it can be calm, and I would do this for a couple of minutes. You can do this on both sides, so you can do one ear at a time. Once you've done this for a while, you can then move further down and massage the second point on your ear. Now this is the point here, this flap of sort of skin and cartilage between your sort of face and going into the ear. This is an area that some people have pierced. Just get your finger in behind that and just gently massage that. So either in circular motions, or you can maybe just gently rub your finger in and out. Again, this doesn't need to be hard, really gentle. You're just wanting that sensation that it's being touched, and that again will signal to the vagus nerve that it's okay to be calm. I would do the top part of the ear first, then go to the second part, and you can then move on to your second ear doing the top part and then second part. All three of these techniques can be used anywhere. Okay, maybe the ear thing you want to think about who's maybe looking or what that looks like. But in terms of the standing and just changing your posture slightly, bending your knees, the deep belly breathing, you can do that anywhere. What I would also suggest though is that you don't just use these techniques for once you've got to the point of feeling really anxious or stressed. I would incorporate these into a daily routine. Maybe you stand and you do the sort of ear massage while you're standing waiting on things cooking, or maybe just periodically throughout the day if it comes to your attention, or become consciously aware of your breathing and just take 3 to 5 really big deep belly breaths, or more if you can, and just the repeated sort of signalling to your system that it can be calm can be really, really helpful, particularly long term if you're suffering from a lot of stress and anxiety. So I hope those 3 techniques were helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.